So let's get deeper into the pricing, and let's start with the OG, which is OpenAI GPT-4 model. And as we all know, OpenAI charges based upon the number of tokens that we use. So what is token? Like token is a small chunk of a text, like a word or part of a word. So now here we can clearly see the model input and output. And the model for ChatGPT 4 latest, we can see that $5 were used for 1 million tokens and $15 for as an output. And for ChatGPT 4 here we can see that the model, for that particular model they are charging around $30 for the input, and for output it's double, like 60. And for GPT-4 32K context window, we have $60 for the input and again the double for the output. So now let's say that you're sending a 1000 token prompt and the model generates a 2000 token response. So now for 8K context window, your input will be $0.03 into 1000, which is again $0.03, and for your output it will be double, which is $0.06 into 2000, right? And which will be costing you around $0.12. So now your overall cost is the input, which is 0.03, plus your output, which is $0.12, and overall it constitutes around $0.15 for that particular interaction. And for 32K context window, it's double, it will be costing you around $0.30. Now when we talk about this DeepSeek R1 token pricing, it's like approaching the pricing in a very different manner. This is where it gets very interesting, because their model is using a cage system to optimize cost. Like here we can see that models DeepSeek Chat and DeepSeek Reasoner all are of context 64K, and this is having even 32K. And we can see that max output tokens are 8K, and for 1 million tokens input price is $0.014, which is like too cheaper when compared to ChatGPT. And even for 32K we can see that $0.14, which is again cheaper. And now this particular DeepSeek company is following two things. So they are using a cage hit and cage miss. So this cage miss happens when the model has to process a new input it hasn't seen before, and this cage miss and this cage hit means it occurs like when the model has already processed some similar kind of input before, and it actually reduces your computational overhead. So that's where the charging is too less. And we can see even the output prices here also, it's a bit double, but very less when compared to that of ChatGPT. So, and we can think of the scenario like how do we really compare for our task. Like see, when we talk in terms of cost efficiency for smaller tasks, OpenAI ChatGPT 4 is like cheaper for smaller interactions. If you're generating shorter responses or handling some low volume use cases, so that will make sense using ChatGPT 4. And for larger tasks like DeepSeek R1, really good. So it's per million token pricing is built to scale. If your application process vast amount of data, then it's like you're using it for some summarizing large documents or running some logical reasoning task, then using DeepSeek will save you a lot of money. And this cage system is an advantage. Like this DeepSeek's cage hit rate can dramatically lower all the cost for repetitive or similar kind of tasks that you're doing by calling the models. Like for example, if your chatbot often handles similar queries, then DeepSeek cage will save your money anytime with that particular system which is there. So that's all about the pricing for now. So let's get deeper into the pricing, and let's start with the OG, which is OpenAI GPT-4 model. And as we all know, OpenAI charges based upon the number of tokens that we use. So what is token? Like token is a small chunk of a text, like a word or part of a word. So now here we can clearly see the model input and output. And the model for ChatGPT 4 latest, we can see that $5 were used for 1 million tokens and $15 for as an output. And for ChatGPT 4 here we can see that the model, for that particular model they are charging around $30 for the input, and for output it's double, like 60. And for GPT-4 32K context window, we have $60 for the input and